Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you've all doing well and having a fantastic day. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to every single one of you who watches these videos, subscribes, leaves a like, comments, shares them with others, or supports the channel in any way. The growth of this community has genuinely exceeded anything I ever expected, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. I also want to say a special thank you to everyone who has chosen to support the channel financially, whether that's through super thanks, donations, or any of the links in the description. It really makes a difference. As some of you may already know, I'm currently dealing with some uncertainty regarding my disability benefits. A significant portion of that support has recently been removed, and while I'm appealing the decision, I honestly don't know what the outcome will be. That's why every bit of support means so much. Please don't ever feel obliged to contribute financially. Your views, likes, comment, and simply being here are already hugely appreciated. If you do choose to support the channel, only do so if you genuinely enjoy the content and are in a position to help. Now, with all of that said, let's get into today's topic. Today, I want to talk about Aston Martin and where I think they currently stand in Formula One. Before we begin, though, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. Everything I'm about to say is my personal opinion. I don't have any insider information. I haven't spoken to anyone inside the team about these topics, and I'm not claiming that any rumors or media reports are accurate. This video is simply my perspective based on publicly available information and recent headlines. As always, if I mention speculation that's been reported elsewhere, please treat it exactly as that, speculation, until officially confirmed. Right then, let's dive in. At the point at the time of recording, Aston Martin have endured an extremely challenging start to the 2026 Formula One season. They've managed to score just a single constructor championship point, and it's fair to say things haven't gone the way many supporters were hoping, including myself. As someone who genuinely has a soft spot for Aston Martin, it's difficult to watch. One thing I always try to remember is that being behind every Formula One team are hundreds of incredibly talented people who dedicate their lives to the sport. Engineers, mechanic, designers, factory staff, hospitality crews, everyone works unbelievably hard. Results on a Sunday don't always reflect the amount of effort that's gone into producing the car. That's why, regardless of where Aston Martin currently are standing, I sincerely hope things will improve for them. On a personal note, the team have always been incredibly kind to me. They've checked in on me, sent me some lovely merchandise over the years, and those gestures genuinely mean a lot. Because of that, I naturally want to see them succeed. Now, one of the biggest talking points at the moment is the much discussed B-spec car that's widely expected to arrive around the Hungarian Grand Prix. If those reports turn out to be accurate, it'll be fascinating to see what difference the upgrades make. However, I also think it's important that expectations remain realistic. Can Aston Martin make a step forward? Absolutely. Can they surprise people? Of course. But I think it's unfair to expect a single upgrade package to suddenly transform them from struggling in the midfield to race-winning contenders overnight. Formula One simply doesn't work like that most of the time, unless someone has discovered something truly revolutionary, and there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that's the case. I think it's sensible to remain cautiously optimistic rather than expecting miracles. And honestly, I think that's healthier for everyone involved. If expectations become unrealistic, then even a solid improvement can end up being viewed as a disappointment. Instead, I'd much rather wait until the upgrades hit the track, analyze the data, watch how the car performs over the race weekend, and then draw conclusions based on what actually happens rather than what people hope might happen. The stopwatch never lies. Another subject that's generated plenty of headlines recently is Max Verstappen's long-term future. As many of you will have seen, there have been various media reports linking him with Aston Martin. Again, it's worth stressing that these reports and speculation that have appeared publicly until any official announcements are made by the relevant parties. Nobody outside the team, nobody outside those discussions truly knows what the future holds. As things stand today, Aston Martin's race drivers remain Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. That's the current reality. Whether that changes in the future is something we'll simply have to wait and see. Now, if Aston Martin were ever able to attract someone of Max Verstappen's caliber, it would obviously be significant moment for the team. Max has already established himself as one of the outstanding drivers of his generation. Personally, one aspect I find fascinating in Formula One is seeing great drivers succeed in different environments. That's one of the reasons why Lewis Hamilton's achievements with both McLaren and Mercedes are often spoken about so highly. Winning championship with different teams demonstrates an ability to adapt to different cars, different personnel, and different circumstances. That isn't to diminish what Max Verstappen has already achieved whatsoever. Becoming a Formula One world champion even once is something only a tiny number of drivers in history have ever accomplished. Every single world champion deserves enormous respect because reaching that level requires extraordinary talent, commitment, and consistency. If Max were ever to win title with another team, many fans would undoubtedly view that as another remarkable chapter in an already incredible career. But again, that's simply hypothetical discussion at this stage. Right now, there's nothing official to suggest any changes are imminent, and it's important not to treat speculation as fact. Ultimately, what I want more than anything is to see Aston Martin moving in the right direction. There's an enormous amount of talent within that organization. They've invested heavily in facilities. They've assembled some of the biggest minds in Formula One. Now it's about giving those people time to develop the package and allowing the performance on track to speak for itself, because at the end of the day, Formula One is decided by lap times, not headlines. I'd much rather judge Aston Martin after we've seen the upgrades in action than make sweeping conclusions beforehand. And who knows, maybe they'll pleasantly surprise us all. We'll soon find out. Now I'd love to hear your thoughts. How much of an improvement do you realistically expect from Aston Martin's upcoming upgrades? Do you think they'll move further up the grid, or do you believe it'll take longer before we see the team consistently challenging towards the front? Because I'm genuinely interested. Let me know down in the comments below, because I'm genuinely interested to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed today's discussion, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't already. It really helps the channel reach more Formula One fans and allows me to keep making content like this. If you'd like to go one step further and support the channel financially, you'll find all the relevant links in the video description, along with the QR code on screen. As I've said before, absolutely no pressure whatsoever. Watching the videos is already fantastic support, and I'm incredibly grateful for every single one of you. However, if you do choose to leave something like a £2 super thanks, it genuinely does help. Smaller contributions from lots of people can make a surprisingly big difference, especially during uncertain times, and every contribution goes straight back into supporting me and the channel and creating more content. Thank you all so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you for being part of this amazing community. Take care, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.